What's up, hipster? Coach Max here. In this video, I'm going to guide you through a follow along workout to hopefully get your hips starting to feel a little bit better today. Consider this workout as a gift to you from me. I just hit that 1K subscriber mark, so I want to show my gratitude by giving you this follow along workout. And if you're new here, then hey, why don't you also subscribe to my channel so when I hit that 5K and 10K milestone, you're not gonna miss another free workout. Something I want you to think about as we go through this workout together is how the exercises target various joints and muscles in the body and not just the hip. To get our hips feeling better, we don't need to just target exercises that hammer away at the hip that hurts. Instead, we want to wake up all the major joints and muscles in the body. You will get more out of this workout if you zoom out and let go of that urgency and need to do something about that exact area that hurts. All right, let's get to the first exercise. I'm gonna be strictly voiceover for the rest of the video so I could better demonstrate each exercise. Hope you enjoy. See you in the next one. Happy hips.
All right, if you've watched any of my other videos and my other follow-on routines, you'll probably know which exercise I want to start with, and that'll be the supine reset position. It's a great exercise to just get into when things aren't feeling great in the body, to get more into the body and just let things kind of balance out, get out of your head, get into your body, breathe, and let go. So you want to use a strap, and you also want your feet elevated on a bench or chair, couch, anything that's just above you. But if you can, try to get your knees at 90 degrees and everything nicely aligned, meaning ankles and knees aligned and knees and hips aligned. From there, you want to use a yoga strap or something without resistance. This isn't something that we want to push out into, right? We just want a strap or a belt to hold our knees in place about hip width apart, so we could really just let go and allow our body to just chill in this position. Arms are about comfortably and just naturally out to the side at about a 45-degree angle, but don't feel like it has to be. Just whatever feels good to you today. The overall goal in this exercise is to not try to do anything, and I know that sounds a little counterintuitive when you're doing exercises, but that's kind of the mindset we want to get to, and that's kind of what we want to set up our body for the rest of the routine. So the goal here is that there's no goal. It's just to lay here and allow the body to figure it out for the next few minutes. We go through our days always trying to control something, always trying to change and make things better, perform better, whatever. And for the first time today, maybe you're just allowing the mind to rest and the body to rest as well. So my hands are to the sides like I mentioned, but in a little while I may bring them up to my head. I think, yeah, there you go. So this is just another variation, and for some people this may feel really difficult after a minute or so. You might feel some pins and needles, and if that's the case, I would shake it out and put your arms back to the side and kind of go back and forth. But if you do get pins and needles and it is really uncomfortable, what does that say to us about your shoulders, right, and the function of the spine? So if this is happening to you, I would recommend practicing this variation until it gets super uncomfortable and then going back to the regular version. But the more you do it, the more function you'll build and the more comfortable your body will get. So I'm going to allow you to chill here for the next 2 minutes. I'm going to play a little bit of music here, and I'll see you on the next exercise. For this next exercise, we're going to start with the yoga blocks directly above our head. And we're going to place the inside of our palm on the yoga blocks, and we're going to stick our thumbs up like I'm doing, like you're giving a thumbs up, but you're going to try to curl the fingertips inward. Then you're going to touch the big toes, and you're going to think about pulling the shoulders back and down, right? So there may be a feeling of the neck trying to come up and do a lot of effort here. Do your best to calm the neck down and to really make this a shoulder exercise. So you're thinking about the shoulders gently coming down and coming together in this overhead position. And then we breathe. And think about, with every exhale, if you could gently pull the shoulders a little bit more down and back. So that's 1 minute, and now we're going to do our second position for another minute. We're going to bring the yoga blocks out to the side here to make kind of a Y with our arms, and I'm going to set the timer for another minute. And same thing, we're going to place the bottom of our palms here, of our hands, on the yoga blocks in each position. Curl the fingers in, stick the thumbs up like you're giving a thumbs up, and breathe. And see how this feels for you. If things get kind of really uncomfortable right away, it doesn't mean you need to do anything about it other than make yourself as comfortable as you can while pulling those shoulders down and back. But take note, right, that this position, in the overhead position like this, is something your body doesn't like, and that's something for you to explore and start troubleshooting. Again, with each exhale, see if you can pull the shoulders a little bit more down, a little bit more back. Make sure those toes are touching. And now we're going to get into our last position, which is kind of like making a T. So the blocks are directly out to our sides. And this is going to be the most difficult position, so do your best to keep those elbows locked. And I may have not mentioned it before, but we do want those elbows to be locked, and there is an error that many people make in this position, is to let that elbow bend too much. If we bend the elbow too much, we're not going to get the shoulder blade as much as we want. So we're breathing, and obviously I'm not saying it yet either, but this is a workout for the hips, but the shoulders affect how the hips feel, which is why we're spending time on the shoulder exercise. So doing your best here to really pull those shoulders together, pull them down and back. Really gain those shoulders into a better position. You might feel this in the hips, so just be mindful, and if that happens to you, that's okay. That's just how your body responds to this position. And that's time for this exercise, so you can gently come out of it. Alright, for this exercise, we're going to set a timer for a minute. You're going to bend your knee, bring your back of the thigh to your hands, and from there, you're going to start doing slow, gentle ankle circles. We're going to go clockwise first, and as you can see, I started with my right leg, so I would do the same so you can follow along. And we're trying to imagine that the movement is coming from our ankles. The knee's not doing too much work, the hips not doing too much work. They might, especially in the beginning, contribute a little bit, and I'll show you how difficult it is to isolate the ankles, right? And in order for the hips to work well, the ankles need to work well, right? So just keeping in mind and paying attention to how this feels for you today. And if it's extremely challenging, then you know it's a exercise and a part of your body you need to spend some time on. Okay, so that's a minute. So now we're going to go counterclockwise, the opposite direction. And notice how I'm keeping everything aligned, right? The knee and ankle are aligned, the hip is at a nice 90-degree angle, and do your best to maintain this. It might help to do it with a mirror to your side, or maybe you can record yourself, but you don't want to lose that nice structure. That's something that's important in this exercise. And don't feel like you need to be a hero here, meaning don't think that you need to hold your leg up with all your energy. Use your hands. There's a reason why we put our hands behind our thigh, put all the body weight in there, and that's okay. The point of this exercise is to mobilize the ankles, and it's not to strengthen the hips. So we're coming up to about a minute here, and for these last few seconds we're going to still work the right side, but we're going to do some up and down movements like this. So we're going to point and flex and then bring our toes up and down. And now that the ankle and all those muscles are nice and activated, this is going to be a lot more challenging. So do your best to do 10 reps here. And then you can shake it out, take a little rest, and now we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Once again, I'm going to play some music for you so you could kind of get into the zone and do this yourself, but I'll still be here on video to follow along. So I'll see you in the next exercise. We're going to continue working on our ankles and feet here and do some calf stretching. So we're going to do it a little bit different than you're used to maybe. So we're going to be on a stepper or a stair or whatever and place the base of your foot onto the stepper, and then you're going to bring the heel down and really push down until you could get a stretch. But then when you come up, you're not going to come all the way up. You're going to come just to parallel where your toes are, so your foot's going to be nice and aligned and neutral, and then you're going to go back down and pull the heel down for 3 seconds. Again, back to neutral, and then pull the heel down. And you can adjust if necessary. You can use your other foot. You can place your other foot on the stepper or off, whatever feels better. But you just want to be feeling a stretch. You don't want to be doing this movement without an intention. So now we're getting to our last rep here, and I want you to really pull the heel down. Keep pulling, 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 and holding at the bottom position. Really looking for a stretch and feel like you're melting into the stretch. And now we're going to do the same thing on the right side. First, we're going to do a few reps where we pull the heel down for like 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds. You could hold it longer or shorter, whatever's comfortable for you. But you want to really, again, melt into that calf. Let the whole body, use your body weight to really go down into that muscle. Adjust as necessary. And also hold on to whatever's necessary. Here I'm demonstrating the hand off the opposite foot off the stepper. You can use your toes to pull the heel down. And you'd be really surprised on how stiffness and tension and tightness in the calves and the ankles can really lead to hip discomfort, right? The body doesn't work in isolation, and if one joint can't work well or can't move and function well, the rest of the body will suffer. So now we're getting to our last rep here, and like the other side, I want you to really hold it for a prolonged period of time. Get one last full stretch where we're putting all of our body weight into it, and then you can shake it out and come out of it. The next exercise is one of my favorite to balance out the whole body. So you're going to get your hands to the wall, and once your hands are on the wall, you're going to walk your feet back a couple of feet. Then you're going to step out. Well, I'm just stepping out to set the timer. You could keep your hands there, but I'll demonstrate what the setup will look like. Hands to the wall, and then you're just going to pull your hips back. And what's really important here is as you pull your hips back, you don't let your head come down. You're not getting the movement from your neck or the spine. The spine and the hips come down and back at the same angle. You don't want any extra movement at the spine or the neck or whatever else. It's the hips that move back. The spine and neck just come along for the ride. And then you'll feel this wherever you feel it. For some people, it will be in the calves. For some people, it will be in the hamstrings. For other people, the shoulders and spine. Just get to that first restriction in a good position and breathe with it. After a few seconds or after a few times of doing this exercise, that area may calm down a little bit and you might feel it somewhere else. And when you do notice that body relax a little bit, you could pull the hips down even more, bring the spine and shoulders down even more. But there's no reason to fight for a ton of range of motion here when you already feel an intense stretch or some sensation happening, right? The goal here isn't to get somewhere, it's just to feel how the body is restricted today. So once you feel that restriction, breathe with it, relax with it. Just a reminder to check your head. You don't want your head to be protruding forward and the head moving further down than the spine. We got about 20 seconds left in this position, so try to get a few more nice calm breaths. And then when we're ready, we'll gently come out of this position and move on to the next exercise. For this next exercise, you're going to place your knee on the pad. You can be near a wall and then kick your feet up against the wall. And you want to do your best to have the ankle and foot align with the knee, meaning you don't want the foot too out or too in. So to get the most out of the exercise, we're going to try to have that foot aligned with the knee as much as possible. And then I would use a stick here if you're starting out. And the reason I call this exercise the mindful wall quad exercise is because I know this exercise is very popular, but many people do it without any intention, right? They just kind of get in it and hope for the best. What we want is for the quad to take our body weight. We want to feel the stretch. And for many people, doing the way I'm doing it right now without the stick is too challenging. It was for me at first. So I recommend having a stick or something you can hold on to, so the body weight and the support is falling into the quad, which is where you feel the stretch. Otherwise, the opposite foot or your hands or maybe even the foot that's on the wall is going to take all of the tension. It's going to take all of the energy and work in this exercise. We want to get to a position, and then you could be as far from the wall as necessary in order to get that stretch in the quad. So as you can see here, I'm playing around with my position. If it's too hard and you can't put any stress, you can't put any load into the quad, the target quad, the right quad, come a little further from the wall. Don't be a hero. You're not going to get anything out of the exercise if you're giving your body way too much stimuli to get a nice stretch, right? So from there, once you get into a good position, we want to breathe. And every time you do this exercise, you're not going to hit a home run in the first one, but every time you do it, you get a little bit better and you get a little bit more comfortable with knowing where and how to do the exercise. Now we're going to go to the other side, and you can see me set up here, which could be helpful. Kicking up that left foot on the wall, coming up. And I'm not even going to grab a stick just to demonstrate for you here, but if you need a stick, you need something for support, I highly recommend using it. My left side is actually much more flexible than my right, so that's something for you to keep an eye out for too, right? Which side feels easier? And you may be surprised that it's the hip that hurts less or hurts more or whatever. There's not always alignment there, and kind of set your expectations, right? And if one side is tighter, it doesn't mean anything incredible it's been discovered, right? It just means that side's tighter and that side needs more work and might need a little bit more love and attention from you. So we're holding each of these sides for about a minute and a half. And for this side, I'm just demonstrating me coming a little closer to the wall because I felt that I can get a little bit more out of it. I don't recommend getting more in one side than the other or going deeper, but I just wanted to show you what that would look like if you feel like you want to come closer to the wall. And the more you can be in this position upright, the more comfortable and relaxed you are in the position, the better you're getting in it, right? If it feels overwhelming and you feel stressed and your neck is starting to come up, all of these things, it shows you that it's still very difficult for you. These are all signs that you need some more work in this position. So we're coming up to the end here, and let's move on to the next one. Now that you're in an open area, shake it out a little bit and then bend forward. Try to bend with the hips as best as possible, but it's okay if the back gets involved. Then you're going to reach down and you're going to start taking some breaths. You can allow your body to come up a little bit, and then when you exhale, try to get a little bit deeper and a little bit lower with your upper body. Keep your knees straight, right? This is going to make it more challenging and it's going to reduce the range of motion, but that's okay. What we want to do here is feel a nice stretch in the hamstring or the calves, and we also might want to feel something going on in the hip flexors, right? And the quads, the front of the hips. So if you put more body weight in the toes, notice what happens, and notice what happens when you put more body weight in the heels. You want to be somewhere in the middle, and you could play around with what's a little bit more comfortable for you today, and then bring your attention back to the breath and see if you can get a little bit lower with each exhale. The goal here isn't to get an incredible range of motion, it's just to start paying attention to what's happening in the body when you're in this forward bending position. And that's time in this position, so come up when you're ready.
All right, hipster, I hope you enjoyed that workout and you're feeling a little bit lighter and more balanced in your body. I plan on continuing to post follow-along routines like this on my YouTube channel, but I send even more routines like this to subscribers of my newsletter. If you're not on there, I'll drop a link in the description box below so you can sign up. I send that email list all types of movement goodies every single week. And I'll say this on behalf of all the hipsters in the community. We'd love to have you. That's all I got today. I'll see you in the next one. Happy hips.